India's positive contributions are being recognized here. Sri Lankans, especially in Colombo, are expressing gratitude for Indian relief. Guess who else praised India in this week? China. On Wednesday, Beijing said New Delhi is making quote-unquote great efforts to help Sri Lanka. But how are the Chinese trying to help this country? Are they trying to help at all? China, after all, is the largest creditor of Sri Lanka. Chinese debt is one of the reasons why Sri Lankans find themselves in this crisis. On multiple occasions, Colombo has sought relief, some form of relief from Beijing. But China has not moved an inch. It continues to squeeze this island nation and its resources. Earlier today, we went to Port City, Colombo. It is being built by the Chinese right in the heart of the Sri Lankan capital. And just before we landed there, Sri Lanka declared it a tax-free zone. Here's a report. A gateway to South Asia. That's the sales pitch for Port City, Colombo. Sri Lankan officials say the project will be an economic game changer. The dream is to build a massive financial center, one that would rival cities like Dubai and Singapore. We are at the Port City, Colombo, and you don't see very much here because construction activity is still on. But the developers of this project say that this city will offer the best of everything. There will be skyscrapers here, schools, hospitals, residential areas, everything that a modern high-tech city can offer. But at what cost? Do you know who's developing this project? China. The Chinese Harbour Engineering Company. They're putting in $1 billion into this project. In return, they will get 43% of this land on a 99-year lease. And even when Sri Lanka is going through its worst economic crisis, a serious political crisis, work at the Port City project has not stopped. In fact, Sri Lanka has announced concessions for this project. Colombo will give a special 40-year tax relief to attract investors to the port city. There are serious concerns over the proposals. Since last year, critics have been questioning these tax breaks. The US has issued a warning. Washington says the easy business rules could turn the port city into a haven for money laundering. Thanks to China's economic clout in Sri Lanka, those concerns have been brushed aside. But recent events are casting a spotlight on China's role in Sri Lanka's economy. Between 2010 and 2020, China became the largest investor in Sri Lanka. Most of the investments came in the form of loans. More than 10% of Sri Lanka's outstanding foreign debt is owed to the Chinese. That's around $8 billion, according to some estimates. Sri Lanka has tried to manage its debt with China. When the country started to run out of cash, Colombo reached out to Beijing. It wanted the debts to be restructured or a moratorium on payments. China has refused to make any concessions. Beijing's attitude sparked public criticism. Earlier this week, China tried to repair some of the damage. It expressed a wish to work with India to help Sri Lanka.
We also note that the Indian government has made considerable efforts in this regard, and we recognize this. We stand ready to work with India and the international community to help these developing countries, including Sri Lanka, to overcome their difficulties as soon as possible.
The president of Sri Lanka is not convinced. Gotabaya Rajapaksa says Sri Lanka is not getting the same attention from Beijing as before. He said Sri Lanka has a $1.5 billion credit line from China, but they're not able to use it. Colombo has also sought a $1.5 billion loan to buy essentials. China is yet to respond to that request. How should the world see China's behavior? There is only one way to describe it. Beijing is behaving like a loan shark, one that is only making Sri Lanka's misery worse. With the WION team in Colombo, this is Palki Sharma Upadhyay. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.